Good morning, everyone. So, again, let's have another lesson in English. For today's objectives, here are analyze a short story based on its elements, write a narrative story through a story map, and create a timeline based on the movie watch. Okay, so let's have the pre-activity. So, in the pre-activity, I will show you pictures and then guess what is this picture. Identify the following pictures. First picture. Okay, so what is this? What do you think is these pictures? Okay, so these are pictures of places. How about this one? So maybe you are very much familiar with this. Okay, especially those who are fond in K-dramas. So yes, they are characters. Okay, your favorite characters. Next, we have this one. Okay, so these are the problems. Okay, the problems arises in the story. And then these are, okay, what do you think is these pictures? So they are running, no? Okay. So this is, yes, this is the intense scenes in the story. Okay, so based from what I show you, class, based from the pictures I show you, what can you say about those pictures? They are examples of what? Yes, they are examples of the elements of short story. So for sure, you are very much familiar with the elements of short story because since elementary, you are discussing about it. And then every time we encounter story, we cannot deny the fact that we always have to discuss about the elements of short story in order for us to discuss a story. Okay? So let us first define a short story. So when we say short story, a work or fictional narrative prose with a few characters, limited setting, and a single major event. Or it usually said that it is can be read in just one sitting. That is a short story. And then we have different elements of a short story. And then these are the setting, the characters, the plot, the conflict, point of view, and then the theme. Okay, so let us discuss it one by one. So let's have first the setting. So when we say setting, it provides the locale or the place and the period or the time of the short story. Okay? Or it may be real or make-believe place and time. Or in other words, when we say setting, it is the place and the time when the story takes place. Okay, so I have here an example. So like for this example, okay, it's a place where the story happened and then the time when it happened. Okay, next to that is the characters. When we say characters, so as you see in the pictures, okay, they are not only persons, okay, but then we only have also the animals, okay, and then the other creatures or even objects, okay, that is present in the story. So when we say characters, are the people, animals, strange creatures, or objects in the story. They are the one who portray the roles or acting in the story. Okay, so in the characters, we have types. Okay, we have first the protagonist, and the other one is the antagonist. Antagonist. So when we say protagonist, this is the good guy in the story, or it is the main character in the story. Okay, so while the antagonist, okay, it is the bad guy or the force in the story. Okay, the antagonist always okay, always opposes the protagonist. Okay, he or she is always against with the main character, but then he has an important role in the story because it makes it intense, makes it interesting. Sometimes the story becomes intense, interesting because of the antagonist also. Okay, and then we have the plot. Okay, the plot is the events that takes place in the story. or it is a series of events which leads to a climax or high point of an interest. So let's see the plot components class. Okay, it uses a triangle. Okay, in the base form or in the base part of the triangle, we can see there the expositions, which is the start of the story before the action starts. In the expositions, we can see there the setting, the characters, and then the background of the story. And then as it goes up to the base of the to the uh, second part of the plot components, we have the rising actions, okay, which is the series of events and conflict in the story that lead to the climax. So in the rising action, it is now appears the conflict or the problems, okay, the problems that arise in the story, and then that is the problems that the main character will solve in the story. And then on the peak of the triangle, we consider the climax, okay, which is the turning point or the most intense moment or intense part in the story, either mentally or in action. Okay, these are now the fighting scenes. Okay, these are now the most intense part of the story wherein you are very exciting of what will happen. And then this is also where and when the main character solve the problems, all secrets will be revealed, and then everything that is hidden will be will be revealed to other characters. Okay, and then the fighting scenes, okay, the battle against the main character, the protagonist, and the antagonist happen in the climax. That's why it becomes the most intense part of the story. And then goes down, okay, we have the falling action. Okay, in the falling action, all of the action which follows the climax. Okay, we can consider this as the calm part of the story, wherein everything is being solved. Okay, so everything is being settled in the rising actions. And then let's go down to the base again, which we have the resolution. Okay, the resolution is now the conclusion. Okay, the tying together of all of the threads in the story, and then it is the finale or the final, okay, moment in the story. So the ending of the story. Okay, next let's have the special techniques of plot. So in the special techniques of plots, we have the suspense or the excitement or tension. So sometimes when we are reading a story or even when we are watching a story, there are some intense scenes there or a suspense scene there or events that uh, comes no that appear in the story or in the movie. So that gives us excitement and gives us tension. So that is a suspense techniques of plot. And then we also have the flashback, okay? Interrupts the normal sequence of event to tell about something that happened in the past. So maybe you have experienced this, that while we are reading a story or while we are watching, there are some past events that is injected in the present, or we go on to the as if we are reading or as if we go on to the past now, the past thing that happened in the story, which is related in the present scene or present event. So that is a flashback. And then we also have the surprise ending or the conclusions that reader does not expect. So we do not expect the conclusions of a story. Sometimes we expect that it is happy ending, but then it comes up that it is not a happy ending, but then it becomes a sad ending. Or sometimes it gives us it thinks that it has a sad ending, but then it comes up that it has a happy ending. Or sometimes the ending of the story that we are reading is a hanging, no? Okay, a hanging ending. We the readers are the one who will decide what will be the ending of this. Okay. And then the last one is the foreshadowing. Okay, foreshadowing, a hint about what will happen next. Okay, so if we have the flashback that goes to the past event, in the story, we also have the foreshadowing, which give us a clue or a hint of what will happen next in the story. Even we are not actually in that scene, still we have an idea of what will happen in the future, or what will happen next to that story. Okay. Next, we have the conflict. Okay, when we say conflict, it is the problems that arises in the story, or it is a struggle between a characters and some other forces in the story. And we have two major types of conflicts. Okay, what are those two major types of conflicts? We have the external and then the internal. In the internal and then the external, we have also the other types of conflicts. Under the external, we have the man versus man, man versus society, man versus nature. Okay, have you observed, class, that in the external, it is the struggle or the problems arises between the characters and then the other opposing characters or forces in the story. While in the internal, we only have the man versus himself. Okay, so the character itself against himself, or the character himself against himself or herself. Okay, so when we say man versus man, man against other character in the story. Okay, and then when we say man versus society, it's all against the society, the government, the law, okay, how the society, how the government is being governed by the law. Okay, and then we have the man versus nature. Okay, it's man versus nature or versus environment. Like for example, the earthquake, the typhoon, okay, and then the volcanic eruptions. Okay, it's all about nature. And then man versus himself, okay, struggle against man versus himself. Okay, like for example, the main character having a depressions or having a stress. Okay, they fight for it, no, fighting within himself or within herself. Okay, and then next we have the point of view or how the story narrates. Okay, and then the narrator. Okay, it's all about the narrator of the story. It's the angle from which the story is told. In the point of view, we have types of it. We have the first person, okay, wherein the story is told by protagonist or one of the character who interacts closely with the protagonist or other characters using pronouns I, me, we, or etc. So in the first person, the character is the one who narrates the story, either the protagonist or the main character, or any characters from the story. Okay. While we have the stream of consciousness, wherein the story is told so that the reader feels as if they are inside the head of one character and knows all their thoughts and reactions. So, stream of consciousness, how the readers being conscious in what he or she is reading or what he or she is uh, watching, no, a story, a watch or a story read. Okay, so it feels as if they are inside the head of the character. So the reader, okay, seems in the head of the one of the characters and knows everything what happened in the story. And then the third one, which is the most common POV or point of view, is the third person omniscient. Okay, so the narrator tells the story from an all-knowing point of view. So in this point of view, there is a narrator who is narrating the whole story. Okay, knowing everything happened in the story. Okay, and then next one is the theme. Okay, what is a theme? When we say a theme, it is controlling idea or the central insight. Okay, or it is the theme may be the author's thoughts about topic or view of human nature. So when we are talking about theme, so a theme could not be a single word alone. Okay, it could be a clause, a phrase, or even a complete sentence. Okay, so remember that, class, when we are talking about theme, it's not a single word. It should be a phrase, a clause, or a sentence, a complete sentence. Okay, so this one, let's have an activity. Okay, So let us recall what are those elements of short story. First one, what is the time and the place of the action? So this is the setting. What is the speaker or character who tells a story? So this is what we call a narrator, okay, or a point of view. And then next one, what is a person or animal who takes part in the action of a literary work? So this is a character. And what is the struggle between opposing forces? So this is a conflict. And what is the sequence of events involving characters and a central conflict? Okay, so this is now a plot. Okay, so let's continue. How about this one? Person against person, person against nature, person against society, and person against self are examples of different types of what? Okay, different types of conflict. Yes, very good. Then next, the main character of a literary work is called the protagonist. So when we have the main character, what do you call now the character who opposes the main character? Yes, we have the antagonist. And then the highest point of interest or suspense is what we call the climax. Okay, very good. So you are now very much familiar with the elements of a short story. So let's proceed. In this next activity, what are you going to do is, in your own word, give a detailed description of the setting in the picture. So this is the given setting. So what description can you give about the setting? Yes, it is a calm, sunny day. It could be also a what? A beautiful and wonderful place. Okay, so like for that example, no? And then others could be, okay, it is a far kingdom or a far place. Yan. And then a quiet, no? A quiet and peaceful place. So that's it. Okay, how about this one? The next one is make a character point about Cinderella. Okay, so we have the first name, portraits related to, cares deeply for. Like for example, Cinderella is obedient, kind, optimist, and having a soft-hearted girl. She's related to her stepmother and stepsisters. She cares deeply for her prince. Okay, so something like that. Okay, so you make other character point about Cinderella. Okay, and then after that, let's have your quiz. So this is your quiz. Answer the following question. It will be posted in the Google Classroom. So just visit the Google Classroom and answer your quiz. Okay, so if you don't have any questions about this, so that is the end of our discussions about the element of short story. Okay, so this is again Ma'am Glad saying learning is fun, especially when you learn it with me. See you again on my next video class. I hope you learned something. God bless and then keep safe everybody. Goodbye.